Jacob Parker has a question about the college prospects that were brought in late in the season. The Sean Collins, Boone Jenner, not a college prospect, but a lot of young players over the last couple weeks joined our organization. We saw that the year before with Paulie Dayton, Wade McLeod, Aaron Bogosian, Cam Atkinson. Just your thoughts on the kids that were brought in here. Those last two home games were very energetic, and I think you had a chance to see them play firsthand.
Well, I think what happens is is we're getting late in the season, and the games at the end there didn't matter. We weren't going to make the playoffs the last two home games. What we brought was some kids in the lineup, gave us energy. The other guys were beaten and tired, and so you could rest some guys. But you look at a Sean Collins, it's not. I'm happy to see a guy like Sean Collins come in because he's under contract. So he gives us as an organization and our fans a chance to see a player who is under contract with Columbus, who will go into Columbus next year and battle for a job. But quite honestly, we'll probably start the season in Springfield. He's got good size. He can play center. He can play the wing. He can chip in some goals. So I think he's going to be a pretty solid player next year. You look at Jake Hansen, came in, got signed late, and came in and got a chance to play a couple games. A right winger, good speed, got a second speed. Was a pretty good scorer in college level, so we get a chance to see him. So I think when you bring in the kids at the end, Mike Clementi is sort of different. He was brought in just on a tryout, a goaltender out of Brown, who really came in hoping to play, number one, and then hoping to play well enough that some scouts who were at the game would say, geez, we've got to keep an eye on him because Mike's looking for a contract next year, and he certainly played well for us, in the stretches that he played. So it's opportunity for some guys to earn a contract, and it's opportunity for others who are already under contract to sort of get a taste of the AHL, the pace of the AHL, get to know our staff, and it makes it easier for them next year when they come in.
Absolutely. Next question here. Down to two questions left, Bruce, as we go through a marathon webisode. It's usually the case when you get a lot of great questions here from Facebook, and these are no different. Sean Mitchell has a question here about Brad Larson and Nolan Pratt. I don't know if we've touched upon, obviously we know Rob, his contract's not being renewed. What happens to Brad and Nolan is the first question that he had.
Well, Brad's contract is up as well, and I believe Columbus has an option on Nolan Pratt. I'll talk about Nolan first because, Nolan came in as a first-year coach to handle the defense. And interesting enough, in talking to the players as we went through the exit meetings, especially the defensemen, they really liked Nolan a lot. They feel that the defenseman, almost like a goaltender, can relate to a goalie coach. The defense can relate to a defenseman. And Nolan Pratt had a great career, and he's been in defenseman's boots before, so he knows what they're going through. And I think Nolan did an admirable job in his first year, and I think once he got it, probably a month into the season, he got a little more confidence and really started to teach and work with the young defenseman, did a good job. Brad Larson, there's no doubt in my mind, is going to be a good coach somewhere along the way, maybe sooner than later, because he brings all those qualities you look for. He's tremendously well organized. Rob Riley gave him an awful lot of responsibility for the last 2 years, and it really, I think, sped up the coaching process. Brad is full of confidence. He played the game and had to work for everything he got to play in the National Hockey League. He played sort of that hard-nosed type of hockey. He's a competitive guy. He knows the game well. He knows systems. He knows special teams. So there's no doubt Brad Larson is certainly going to apply for the head coaching job here. I don't think that's any secret. And certainly that's, again, a Columbus decision. But Brad has all what I see, and I think others see in him, the qualities to be a good coach.
Sure, and Sean, he had a couple questions about Giroux and St. Pierre. I think he touched upon a lot of the free agents there early on in the episode here. Also wants to thank you for all the work you do, you and Charlie, during the season to keep hockey here. Appreciate it, Sean. And last question here coming from Eric. And there's some rumors about Columbus playing a preseason game here in Springfield next season. What are the chances of that happening, or Springfield going to play in Columbus in the future?
Well, they will not be playing a preseason game. I'll put that rumor to bed. They will not be playing a preseason game next fall. I've had discussions with Scott Housen about Columbus playing a preseason game here, and I don't want to go beyond that right now. It's sort of in the discussions. The problem, I guess, that has to be overcome is that Columbus has a commitment to their own building in Columbus for so many home preseason games. That's a contract with them. So if they're to play a game in Springfield, they have to extend another game in their schedule. Also, preseason games in the NHL are put together a year in advance. So I plan on having a discussion over the next few weeks When Scott's been he's over at the World Junior Under 18 tournament. He's got a lot on his plate. Coming back certainly to Columbus with not only things here, but certainly a lot in Columbus. So when the time's right, I want to ask Scott if he would consider maybe looking the following year out if it could fit somehow, some way into bringing a Columbus preseason game here. But it's really too early to go on record with it.
Sure, Bruce. As we wrap up this week, I think something we always touch upon in the spring is we don't close up shop here. This is a 12-month. Job, and here we go into, I can't believe it's going to be another April, May, June, July, and August. But as we've said before, time goes by quickly, and there's a lot to do between now and October.
Well, a lot to do, and a lot to do on the business side, because as we've touched upon, I've had a number of conversations on a daily and weekly basis with Charlie, and we have to address some things here to do better, certainly. Status quo isn't working, so we have to make some change. We've added a new person joining us on Monday in Sean West to our ticket sales department. We've added Sarah Pompey to our marketing and promotions department. So we're investing in some people and in the right places to do what we need to do here. We've got a great staff that we currently have on board, and I think everybody on staff understands the amount of work has to be done to get this where it needs to be. But there's a lot goes on, as you know, Damon. We get a big kick out of people say, well, what do you do for the summer? And you don't even really know how to answer them. So, but it's busy time, and it's time that we have to take advantage of and get everything humming in the right direction, both on the hockey side, certainly, but more importantly, probably for us, because that's what we're involved in more, is the business side and getting the ticket sales up. And I want to just close, I know we're running long, I want to close by what I've been really impressed by and appreciate is the number of emails, comments, when I'm out in public, that people say they really enjoyed this year. For whatever reason, they enjoyed it. You always get some people certainly disappointed, didn't make the playoffs, and that's the benchmark for some people. But the positives have been so overwhelming and outweighing the negatives that I think people really feel we're on to a good thing here, and hopefully maybe next year's our year.
Absolutely. Well, I think everyone hopes so, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. Going out in the community and different events seems over a lot of positives flowing our way, and things that we can take into next week's meeting, and we'll do that. We'll meet next week. We'll be back here, film another one after that meeting. I'm sure having a lot of good topics and go from there.
Great, sounds good.
Bruce, thank you for coming on. We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching out there. Thank you to DK's Hockey and Lacrosse, 1 Prior Road, down to Enfield Twin Rinks, for making these webisodes possible. Check out the official Facebook, official Twitter. Go to falconsahl.com. You'll check those links out. Every day updated, almost by the minute. And thank you to Mike Mitchell once again for standing behind the camera and all the hard work for making these webisodes possible. Thank you for watching out there. We'll see you next week.